one and only Pug, and today we're going to do an interesting topic for today's video. Now, before we get started, I do have a little cough I'm kind of dealing with right now, so if I cough during the recording, I apologize, so we're just going to go with it. So, anyways, as I said before in the past, I'm super hyped for the Pokemon Sword and Shield coming out with the Direct coming and going a couple of weeks ago. But since E3 was released, they did show some updates and new footage and, you know, new Pokemon Yamper and all of that, and that's pretty cool. And like I said, some of the updates look really awesome, but people have been complaining about some things that make it the most hated game at E3. Now, this did shock me a little bit when I saw the dislike number, and I was a bit confused at first when I saw this, but I did some research, and I found a couple of things we will discuss in here in today's video. We will discuss the 3 important things why Pokemon Sword and Shield is the most disliked game at E3. As much as it pains me to discuss this video, this topic is discussed pretty much all over the internet. So without further ado, off we go. So the first reason on why everybody hates Pokemon Sword and Shield is that not all of the Pokemon from the past generations will be in the game. Now, this is a big deal here because in the past games, all Pokemon were allowed no matter what generation game you were playing, barring Ruby and Sapphire. Plus, with the fact that there is no national Pokedex, spreads even bigger controversy as well. And even a lot of people were upset when they announced this at E3, and I can understand why. Personally, I don't mind this, along with the, the Mega Evolutions and Z-moves and all that, but this does defeat the whole purpose with them catching them all, and yes, you can't see me doing it, but I'm using the quotation marks, which kind of ruins their catchphrase of Pokemon. Gotta catch them all. Like, how are you gonna catch them all when there's, like, not all the Pokemon are gonna be in the game exactly? That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. I mean, if you don't have a national Pokedex at the beginning of the game, I'm fine and I'm okay with that. But at least in my opinion, they could at least keep the tradition going when you get to beat the game, or add it like maybe in a future update, maybe when the game is released or something like that, like a couple of weeks maybe prior to it. Plus, they have Pokemon Bank and Pokemon Home, and they're supposed to support this game with the ability to transfer and take Pokemon into the game for the Galar region. And it kind of brings me back to my question of, what's the point if, you can't send any past Pokemon from the Bank or Home or whatever you're at to the Galar region? So, yeah, I'm kind of a little on the fence with this, since there are kind of a couple of pros here with the new Pokemon coming out, but there's a lot of cons here, and I see why a lot of people are upset on this situation. So, anyway, second reason on why everyone hates this game is unfinished animations and textures designs. Now, this is a big one right here. Game Freak said they were going to focus on, and I quote, higher quality animations, and yes, I'm using quotation marks again, even though you can't see me do it, but they also said it's going to come with its own technical limits. To me, honestly, that does not make any sense whatsoever, and there shouldn't really be any technical limit to adding past Pokemon in the game, yet alone fixing their animation and designs. And, I'm no tech expert, so I don't know what goes on in Game Freak personally, though I kind of wish I did at times with this, all this decision making. And I can see why people are really upset over this matter, because they are not getting enough details, as well as, why they are afraid of making big moves, and why they are halting on, a certain thing. And if you want to, fix the textures and the designs, that's fine by me, that's basically, you want to do it pre-stage, I'm afraid personally that, once the game is released, there's going to be some things that are kind of, unfinished, and I feel like with the textures in certain areas will be super glitchy, and you won't be able to load a save game like what happened in X and Y and all that when the game got released. But my hopes are still high that Game Freak will at least, have something figured out by the time the game is released, so that people who have doubts about this game will get back on board to having to buy this game and actually playing the game, just have a good time with it, that's all that matters at the end of the day. And finally, the third and final reason on why everyone hates this game is how bad this game will sell when it's released after the backlash it has received. Now, personally, I don't believe that this game will sell that low despite of the backlash and hate Game Freak has been getting lately. I do understand where people are coming from, since they do hate all the new features that were, added to the game. It's not really just the new features that were added, it's just, the design and, the unfinished textures and all that, back to, what I said with the second reason. But that's the changes isn't really what I'm worried about, honestly. I'm worried about why people are not giving it a chance due to this change. And I believe the last couple of games to sell this low was the Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green set, and that was right around 12 million sold worldwide, and then we're talking about like 2003, 2004 status right there when they got released. But however, no one really complained about that though. To me, when the remakes were actually really good on the Game Boy Advance, they didn't really add much stuff to it except for like a couple of new areas, new things you can explore with the new. But they were the first game that they added the National Pokedex in there, and it turned out good at the end of the day. But back to Sword and Shield, I feel like this game personally will sell a lot of copies. Like, I would say right around 15 million to 20 million copies, despite all the hate it's getting. And I know it's a big number in spite of that hate that it's getting, but I will think that I think personally, like, the stats will prove everyone wrong once it's released. Don't get me wrong, it is true that Sally has over 60,000 dislikes, like somewhere about there, and that's just absolutely insane. But I feel for more of the people, you know, who dislike it, I feel for it will be like a guilty pleasure game for most of them down the road from now. Like, you know, Infinite Warfare had a couple of years ago with this insane amount of dislikes, but that's besides the point. The decisions ruined the hype, I think, for a lot of people, but I still think, like, I still have hope at the end of the day. I still think it's going to do extremely well in the market once it's actually fixed. So there's still hope, guys, so just keep praying that Game Freak will succeed. And that is going to do it for today's video. Let me know what you all think of all this. Do you not like the decisions Game Freak has done, or what do you like about the updates at E3? Like, you know, you could like something about it. Let me know in the comments below, since I am curious to see what everyone thinks. And as always, if you're new to my channel, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you are new, and turn on those post notifications to never miss a live stream or video I make and do on this channel. Again, I am Kyle the Pug, and I will see you all in the next video. #PugBark.